Welcome to my beginner crochet tutorial. So today we're going to go over the slip knot, a chain, single crochet, half double crochet, and how to turn over your work. So once we get done with the chain, I will go very slowly on how we cast on to get to that first row. Now this tutorial is specific to my beginner crochet class that I do teach here in Louisville, Kentucky, but if you have never attended, you are welcome to follow along. Depending on how long this is, there might be multiple parts, but I am going to try and complete most of it in part one within the 10 minutes. Now first, we're going to do a slip knot. I do something very easy. You can do slip knots many different ways. I find it easier to take your index finger and you're going to wrap over twice like this. You're going to take this piece of yarn, put it in front of the other piece of yarn. That first, pull around, and then you will tighten. And of course, you are very welcome to rewind and go back over if anything was confusing. So from here, we're going to cast that slip knot onto your crochet hook. Now I am looking through my camera while I am doing this to make sure that you all see what I see, so I might be a little funky. But let's go. We're going to start with chaining. To do the headband, it's going to be chain 45. Right, let's begin with the chains. We're going to go under and go through. You bring that closer to you. Slowly, you want that hook to catch the yarn, and you're pulling it through the two. I'm going to do that again. 2. I like to hold onto my piece with my left hand to keep that tension together. Now I don't want you to currently worry about tension because learning a skill and getting the muscle memory in is so difficult. Now there's other ways that you can crochet. People do hold their hook all different types of ways. I tend to just keep this straight and I do most of the work actually with my left hand. And I have not been counting this entire time. This is why I do the headband as my beginner tutorial, because typically I would have you just measure your head and then you would just create the chains until you get to that measurement that you had. For my head, it is 45 chains. And that will be different for every single person if you are making the headband for you. When we start out, I don't want you worrying about counting. I want you to get that muscle memory down. Now, chains for some people are incredibly difficult. For others, it's the easiest part of the project. Meet me back here once I count to 45. I have counted 45 chains. And chains are always just what we just did, the loop. Though they're not really considered stitches just yet. Now, as you get used to it, you're going to know that there is a front and that there is a back. The back are kind of bumpy. The front, you're going to see the two like a V. Now, whenever we cast on our first row into the chain to make our first single crochet stitch, you're going to go through the V. And then you'll see the 2 on top. That is how you know you are casting on your first row to the front of your chain. Now, right now, I really don't want you worrying if you're doing it correctly or not. I just want you to practice trying to cast on and get into that first row. Now, single crochet is just me going through the hook, or not the hook, I apologize, putting that string over your hook once and going through the 2 loops. Watch that again. Here's your next chain. Going through that V, seeing the 2 on top. You're going to yarn over the hook. You're going to pull through that chain, pull up, take that same. See, there's a lot of work that happens in your left hand. I like to hold this steady while I pull through. And that is how you make a single crochet. Now on the next row, I will go more in depth on how to see and do the single crochet. I feel like we're all basically fighting for our lives when we're going into that chain. Even me, and I'm doing this through the camera and not looking at it in real life. So this is making me go slow. I apologize for tripping over my words. But I'm going to be doing this 45 times, all the way until we get to the end. And when I get to the end, I will meet you back, and then I will teach you how to turn over your work and start your next row. All right, I am coming up to the last chain. I'm going to put my single crochet into this, yarn over, go through, pull up, over. All right, now that we are done with this, we are going to do a chain just like that, because we're going to be doing a single crochet. So for a single, you will chain up just one. Now we are going to turn over our work, and as you can see, I have a couple of mistakes, which is totally fine. I do not mind, and that is the chain. Everyone hates the chain, so don't feel bad about that. Now when I turn over, I'm going to skip this first stitch right here. We are going to go into the second one from your chain. Pull in and up. Now the reason why we did that is because when I chained up, I made that one stitch, remember? So that one stitch actually goes over this hole, so that counted as my first stitch or single crochet. Now we're going to single crochet into every single stitch that we see here. For me, that's going to be 45. So I'll do this slowly. You'll go in through the front space that you see here. You'll see the 2 on top of your little V. Grab your yarn over, and pull through. I'll do that again slowly. Pull up, yarn over, let that hook catch it, and pull through. Now I want to move my hands away so you can see what all my hands are doing. And you're going to notice that both hands kind of interact in with this, but there are people who can crochet with one hand. They have contraptions that will hold the hook, and they'll do everything with the hand that they have. So if you're somebody who also has arthritis, you can keep that hook pretty still and have this hand be a little bit more interactive. So if you're left-handed, before you grab that hook with your left hand, you can just see if holding the hook still with your right hand and doing most of the work with your left hand works for you. If not, we can always inverse and teach you how to crochet with your left hand. It will be the same mechanics. Now let me go ahead and do a single crochet all the way to the end, and I will meet you back when I get to the end of my first row. You're coming up to the end of that first row. So we're going to single crochet, and then we're going to actually single crochet into the very end. Now a lot of us do our ends differently. This to me is the most crispiest look, and these two little, or this whatever it is, the 2 pieces of yarn in this chain is always so hard to get into. All right, pull through, chain up, turn over, and we are going to begin our second row of single crochet. And row 1 through row 3 are going to be single crochet, and then we'll go into the half double crochet. I have a feeling I will be running out of time, so part 2 will be when we go over what a half double crochet is once we reach row 4. But for now, row 2, single crochet all the way across. Now let me slow this down for those of you that are new, which is why you were here. Okay, that's the far away, so you can see my hand mechanics. Now let me bring this up. We're going into that single crochet that's right here. See? Pull through and up, yarn over, pull through. And I'm going to be doing this a total of 45 times, and it looks like I am running out for part 1, so come back for part 2.